everyone, I'm Candice. This is Eclectic Coach, and this is a sort of off-the-cuff kind of video. I don't even know if I'm necessarily going to post it, but I've been thinking a lot in the last little bit, couple hours, about this concept of grit versus divine grace, because I'm reflecting on some areas of my life where I've shown a lot of grit and a lot of determination, and yeah, I got what I was after. I got the degree I was after from the top school. I'm not really sure how much I've used that degree and whether or not it was worth it or not to be so gritty getting into that particular school. A lot of debt. It was really hard. I was in a really tough relationship situation for like 5 years because I was in school and I was so committed to it. And this all kind of came about because I did this interview for applying to this mystery school, and I wanted to apply for like a kind of scholarship program that they had, because as of right this second, I don't know where I'm going to generate the funds to go to this school. And I mean, there's a lot of synchronicity around it. It's in this place in Mexico, and it's around A Course in Miracles, and it seems like a really good opportunity, and I wasn't even expecting them to respond to my application. And even the name of it was very synchronistic for me and was a concept that I had like looked up and wrote a storyline around and just gave a lot of thought to, even a couple months before I'd ever even heard of it. So I applied to this school, and literally, just in full transparency, everything in my life is just up in the air right now. Nothing from where I live to where I'm going to work is mapped out. And I feel kind of vulnerable in like sharing that with you, but like nothing is really clear as far as like where I'm going, and I'm praying like, God, give me a sign. So we do this interview, and I completely understand. This is a very famous person who's putting on this workshop internship type of thing. And they're probably going through hundreds of applicants, and they really need to determine who is the best fit for this opportunity. And it is also, a large commitment of money and time and everything else. And what I'm working through around money and finances was a major theme in the whole conversation. And she said to me, she's like, well, there's somebody else in South America who also applied, and so she's in a similar situation, and we just really want to know what I heard from it anyway. And this just could be part of my projection, which is part of what this whole mystery school kind of works with and works through, is our perception and our projection and that sort of thing, because it's based around A Course in Miracles, which is a non-dualistic system, which is like a psychological mind training, leaning away from fear and leaning more into love, because that's what we all are, and fear is just an illusion in the dream, and only love is real. So what I was getting from it was, kind of a little bit of like push on, we just want to make sure that this is the right opportunity, and that this is really where God is calling you to go. And we kind of had an awkward moment, because I made it a little awkward. I kind of like stopped in the middle of the call, and I was like, well, if this is what's meant to be, then that's great, but I'm not desperate for it. Because I mean, if this is what's meant to be, looking back on my life and the miracles that I've had happen, like literally living off of miracles, not knowing where I'm going to live from one place to the next, to job changes, to like even going to the college that I went to. Just so many things have lined up for me. And when it's meant to be, there's a sort of divine grace. There's a sort of ease, a sort of beauty. And even in the Course in Miracles, it talks about how you'll be led down a warm, like led down a path on a warm summer day, or something like that. It's just like there's this grace that ushers in. And if you're feeling tired, it's because you're relying on your own strength. It's because you're trying to push and make things happen. And yes, you can make things happen, but I'm really reflecting on, because when she said that to me, I said, listen, I am the type of person too who will get that money come hell or high water. And I got really kind of in my ego about it. Like, no, I make things happen. I push through. I pursue. I have persistence. I have grit. And that's another thing is it's like, yeah, but think about what grit is. It's not just persistence in the face of difficulty, challenge, and delay. It's also just like some, like, you know? And I don't want my life to be led by grit. I want it to be led by divine grace. It's just way easier, way more beautiful, way more miraculous and magical. Like, I don't want that. And I really do think that this seems like an amazing opportunity with this mystery school in Mexico, and I think it could be magical and beautiful. But I also remind myself that every speaker, every author, everybody has some retreat going on. And I don't know, my ego sometimes thinks it knows what's best, but really all I can do is show up, participate, be fully present, be as happy and as loving as I can be, and see where there's flow. Do a flow test on it, because when things are good and they work out, there's a flow, there's an ease, there's a grace to it. So if you're getting all gritty and, you know, digging your heels into the ground and pushing and cajoling, and I'll like make a list on ChatGPT. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm going to figure out how to get it. I'm going to figure out, you know, and I'm going to get online and I get really intense and I make everybody really uncomfortable when I get like super grabby. And when I start acting from a place of scarcity and fear, things just don't work out. Like when I send the application because I need this to happen, and I need this to work out, and I need this, like whatever, nothing happens. But when I act knowing like I'm loved, I am love, I'm surrounded by angels and guides, and we're all one. I'm one with everybody and the whole universe, multiverse. Everything's okay. Everything is a lesson that God would have me learn. Things just work out. And so part of the reason that I'm making this video is just to kind of process my feelings about this situation. And if they do accept me, then that's great. Then I'll take steps to figure out how to get the money and do the deposit and make all the plans and do all that. But if they don't, I'm reminding myself that my value doesn't swing in the balance of whether or not I'm accepted into some school or some group, whatever that is. It sounds like a great opportunity, but, you know, I've had many opportunities that I thought, yeah, I really want this, and I've pursued it really hard, only to get it and realize maybe I don't perceive my own best interest. But they seemed really lovely, and it seems great. But it's just leading me into this deeper thought around, do I want more grit in my life where I'm pushing and my ego needs this thing to happen? Or do I live my life with this sense of grace and ease and beauty that I'm being led, I'm being supported, and that I'm okay, everybody's okay, everything's going to be okay? So I invite you to think about that in your own life. Are you being led by grit? To be fair, too, I just got done listening to Tony Robbins, who I absolutely love, and it's all about energy and results and redefining your belief systems and contribution. I love Tony Robbins, but every time I listen to him, I get real intense, and I probably need to tone it down a little bit. And he did this exercise where you identify the warrior and the magician and the lover and the king or queen or sovereign, and I think I get a little too into my warrior, and I'm just gonna find a way or make a way, and I think I freak people out with that. So yeah, these are just some of my thoughts. Grit or grace? What do you think? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments.